Welcome back to the channel. It's been a while since I've made a video once again, but quite a few things have happened since I made the last video. Also, I think when I wear this jumper it looks like I've got moves, but it's not. Or I might have moves. Oh my god, I'm at that age. Anyway, a couple of big things have happened. Since the last video, I have driven a Porsche Taycan at 158 miles an hour, which is insane. So that was at Millbrook proving ground, and well, I'll tell you more about that in a minute. I don't know why I started with that. There's even bigger news. We have had Magnus Walker on the Porsche Talk podcast. How mad is that? The guy has 750,000 followers on Instagram. He's like Porsche royalty. He hobnobs with Jay Leno. But the nicest guy you could ever meet. And the great thing is, because in doing my research when I spoke to him, we did a lot of, I did view a lot of the videos, you know, Urban Outlaw, the various podcasts and interviews that he's done. There's been lots of videos about him, The Next Big Thing, all of those things, Haggerty, the stuff that he's done. I like to think that our conversation was different to that, and the things he told us were kind of outside of the norm. Mostly because we don't know what we're doing. That's always the case. We don't know what we're doing when it comes to doing the podcast and having a guest on. So really enjoyed it all, and that was fantastic. But anyway, just in other news, so to wind back, firstly, thank you to everybody who's liked, subscribed, and commented. Everyone who's messaged me on Instagram as well, Flat Cap Driver, thank you very much. I've not been very active on any of those channels, but I would like to get to 1,000 Instagram followers. I'm on something like 945. That'd be great to hit that milestone. I know I want to do that on YouTube, but YouTube's a bit, I don't know. But anyway, the updates are, like, my mum's not been very well. Actually, she's not very well at all, and that's kind of been playing on my mind, and there's been a lot of stress of toing and froing and sorting things out, so which is why I've been kind of radio silence for a while on Instagram and YouTube, but I have been doing the podcast. So just in terms of an update, one of the updates is my wife has crashed the 911 into a concrete post. She scraped it while I was away at my mum's in our workhorse, the wagon, the Audi A3. And I mean, stuff happens. Of course she didn't mean to do it. There's no point getting angry because, well, I'm not angry because she's my wife and I know she wouldn't do it, and she was more horrified than I was. And also, she's just gone, yeah, I'll get it fixed. And the great thing about that is the bit that she scratched is where the rust is on the rear quarter on the passenger side. So if she does get it fixed, the rust is going to be fixed. Amazing. Anyway, so that's that, and I've not really been driving 911, but I have pumped up the tires and I have been driving it, and it's starting to get back because I've done a couple of long journeys. So it's, you know, when I drove to Millbrook and I drove to meet a friend down in the south, further down in the southeast, it was it's kind of, I got everything working and flowing again, and it's all the reasons why I love it are there again. So that was great. And then we had the disaster of my wife went to drive our workhorse wagon Audi A3, and actually these should be like 3 different videos, but no, I'm going to do the update. And she got in it and she said it's just making a grinding noise, and I thought, oh god, a wheel bearing's broken. It's got 177,000 miles on it, and I thought, I said, wheel bearing's broken, a CV thing's broken. I phoned around lots of garages and no one could fit me in for 2 weeks. We're going away next week, well, for a day, but we'd have to go in the Porsche. And then I thought, oh god, so in the end I thought, you know what, am I going to have to fix that myself? So I went for a drive in it, and it was just grinding, but it was a funny grinding noise, and it was coming from the rear passenger wheel. And I looked at it, and the backing plate, I tapped it to the disc, and it was just making a funny noise, and I thought, is that loose? I pushed it and a little rock fell out. and that's what was making the grinding noise. So nothing wrong with it, fixed. Gosh, job done, I was so happy. But anyway, let me tell you about going to Millbrook. So Porsche Reading sent me an invite, thank you to the lovely Tina, to go to the proving ground, and once you're there you recognize everything instantly. You recognize the bit where Top Gear did the caravan thing, where they had the race. Not Top Gear, was that the Grand Tour? Yeah, it was Top Gear, where they did that. I think it was one of the last episodes. There was that. There's the Casino Royale bit, there's the Alpine route, there's the, you've seen it on television all over, you recognize it. Oh, I recognize that. You can't take any photos because you have to put a tamper-proof film on your phone, and that's because there's development cars everywhere and all sorts, so you can't take any photos or selfies or anything like that. So my phone was in my pocket and that was it. And I went round in a hybrid Panamera, so I went round all the circuit, around the banked bit, and it was great. It makes you kind of sick because the undulations are huge, but then I got to do one circuit round in a Taycan. Now, I believe it was a turbo, but there's a single line straight stretch of 1 mile. So you start at one end and did launch control. So click, sport plus mode, foot down on the brake, hard down on the accelerator. And there were a couple of other guys there who were doing that, and what I said to the guy, because I'm not a track guy, I don't know what to do, so I just turned to him and I said, look, there's only 1 mile stretch, so you've got to go from standing start, launch control, and then back down to 40 miles an hour before you hit the banked bit. So I just said to the guy, look, I'm going to keep my foot in until you tell me to start braking. So, click, Sport Plus, left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, down to the floor, and it launches. Obviously you just fall back, it's just incredible, the acceleration. So once it's and I'm just keeping my foot in and I'm looking at the guy thinking he hasn't told me to brake yet, and the maximum speed I see on the speedo is 158. He told me it touched 160, but I didn't see that. And he goes, brake harder, brake more, brake. And I'm thinking I've slowed down. I look and I'm still doing 95 because your perception of speed has changed. And then when I've done the lap, I go back in to the main bit where there's nibbles, and I see a few of the other guys. They go, how fast did you go? And I go, well, 158, I think, is the maximum I saw on the speedo. And they're like, oh, I whisked out way before then. And I was straight up with the guy. I said, I'm just going to keep my foot in because he's the guy in control, and he's the one who's going to tell me you're doing something that's not safe. And I wouldn't deliberately do anything that was unsafe. So I really enjoyed that, and I feel like I got the maximum out of it. A professional driver took me around in a hot lap in the hybrid, insane levels of grip. It was raining, all sorts. So really enjoyed that. So thank you, Porsche Reading. Thank you to Tina. And yeah, immense. But on to the big news. Yeah, so Bart, who's been on the podcast a couple of times, did the Flat Six Love Affair series of books. Amazing photographer, really well known, and he introduced us to Magnus, and Magnus was like, yeah, let's go. And it was amazing. He was sat in his garage. I'll put the video on YouTube. Mark's currently editing. Well, we don't really edit our podcasts, but he's currently editing it. We just top and tail it, which I'll have to do for the video, and then we're going to put it out there. And then next, I think I'm going to go for Mike Brewer. Mike, I'm coming for you. So in the meantime, what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk to Brian at Rint Vehicle Design. I'm going to get him on the podcast. It's a bit difficult at the moment because I'm on my children are on school holidays. I want to hang out with them. My wife's on holiday. I'm toing and froing at my mum's, so it's difficult for me to be organised. Difficult for me to be organised at the best of times. So, going to do that, and then get Brian on, try and get Mike Brewer on, get Tom from TGE TV on. That'd be really good. Another fellow 996 driver. So hopefully it's going to be all go. That's pretty much it. there isn't, I don't, I've got, that was the horn, because as soon as you go near it, it goes off. There's not really much else at the moment, but there's going to be stuff happening, and I've done stuff where that clicking, by the way, is not the timing chain guides. I have come to the conclusion. No one agrees with me. Jack's going to tell me I'm talking nonsense. I think it's the timing chain tensioner, not the one that's in the engine, under all the covers. It's the one that bolts in from the side. There's three of them. One from that side, one from that side, and one from the top. I think it's one of the two at the bottom, which are quite easy to do, but they're about £100 each to buy. So I've decided that I am going to get a job, and I have a job in the next couple of days, that's ambitious. In the next couple of weeks, I'm going to get that fixed and just see what it does. But in the meantime, thank you for tuning in, and I'll catch you on the next video and the next podcast, and look out for the Magnus Walker podcast. Catch you on the next one. Thank you for watching.